tips and tricks to help you out for likes and clicks. So power it on, click it in place. The screen comes on, smile on your face. Take better.
Welcome to the Not Nerd Show. I'm Nate Heath, and we are here to help you tech better. Here with me, as always, Country Dave Baylor.
Man, I forgot my cowboy hat. Should have put my cowboy hat on.
Oh, man, that was
What was
a
I
jam.
thinking?
Thank you, Dave and Suno, for another digitally created intro song, the country theme.
And look at your background.
Yeah,
It
I even got out
matches.
one of my pearl button shirts.
What?
I don't wear those ones too often.
Look at that.
Yeah,
And-
it might even be a Wrangler.
Do you have a hat that matches the theme?
Oh, well, I couldn't find a hat that was related to a country theme. I don't have that many.
Not gonna hold my horses. Well, that sounds like a threat.
Yes, not gonna hold my horses.
That's awesome.
Yes.
This is the country episode. Today we're
Yeah.
it's all gonna be about horse riding, barebacking, rodeo
technology,
tech. There's actually a lot of technology in rodeo.
mechanical bowls. I mean,
Yeah.
what more do you need?
Well, I mean, with a lot of it's physical mechanics, but like the chute that lets the bull out, and then of course the cameras and sensors and all that stuff. So,
And the
Yeah.
clowns.
oh, those
Don't
clowns.
forget the clowns.
Hey, a little sidestep. I saw a video the other day of, it was probably about 10 guys standing in hula hoops in the middle of a rodeo arena, and you won the money. It was like, I don't know, it was like a couple $1,000 or something if you stood in your circle and didn't move, and they let a bull out,
Oh,
and he would just kind of sniff around, and then he'd just kill a guy, throw him in the air. And then at the
Wow.
very end, there were two guys, and the one guy just said, "Nope, it's you,
Nope.
and he ran out.
Yeah, I don't know how long I'd last.
It's pretty funny.
I'm a city boy through and through.
Yeah. I hear you.
Well, now that we've introduced the country episode,
Yeah.
we won't mention country again. But no guarantees. But our main
Guarantees.
topic this week, last week we talked about iOS 18. The week before that was the big Apple iPhone event. But now we have new iPhones. They are out.
Yay.
Got my iPhone 16 Pro.
Let's see it again. I put you on widescreen here.
Yeah. Oh, get notifications.
Oh boy.
There it
Look at
is. It
that.
looks so different.
It looks about like mine.
Yeah. But it is in the flesh. So I don't know if I mentioned, I did post a video about it, that I usually go pick up in the Apple store, because when I get on and pre-order, I can get in at like a 8 a.m. pickup time, and it's perfect. Well, this year, by the time I got there, it was 1:30 p.m. So I was like, I'll have UPS deliver it. They'll get it to me soon.
Mhm.
To which I kept sending you screenshots of the UPS truck tracking that literally circles my neighborhood all day long. And then it was like 7:30 p.m. It finally showed up.
So did you
And,
learn a lesson? Are you going to just pick it up at the store or what?
I could have had it by 1:30. I don't, it was so weird. It was 5 minutes after pre-orders started, and the time was already bumped to 1:30 p.m. But when I did stop by the store in the morning, about 9:30, there was a line around the corner,
Oh.
which I have not seen in years, for an iPhone launch, because most people just pre-order them. I will say that they looked, for the majority of them looked international, which I know has been a thing in the past where people come to purchase phones to take elsewhere, but I have no other data to back that up. But yeah, a lot of people there, but my phone did show up, so I've had it for about 4 days now. Is that
Well,
right? Saturday, Sunday, yeah, 4 days.
on Saturday, Valerie and
Yeah.
I went to a movie, and I was like, you know what? We should go over to the Apple store. And we've
Hmm.
talked about getting a phone for her. And so we picked up this little guy,
Yeah.
the iPhone 16 regular, not a
Regular.
plus, not a pro. Uh, anyway, she has yet to open it. It's still brand new inbox.
Yeah.
That goes
She
to
got
show
it
you just,
Saturday how much she cares.
yeah, it's Tuesday as we record. So,
Yeah, yeah. No, and I did find a couple things. Of course, most people released, or most tech pundits release the reviews, but I did find the first link I put in the show notes from Mac Rumors is an article, and it's the iPhone 16, which Val got, and the versus the iPhone 16 Pro, and it's
right.
all the differences compared between the two of them, because I think we probably talked about this over the last 2 weeks. I think the iPhone 16 is the best that the non-Pro has ever been,
It
and the
is.
closest to the Pro.
And,
Um,
and antithesis of that, you could probably say the Pro upgrade might be one of the smallest Pro upgrades that they've had.
yeah, I hear that from the reviewers, and I've even heard some of the big tech people, like on podcasts and stuff, just miss certain points.
Mm,
Like the fact that the ultra wide camera went from 12 megapixels to 48 megapixels, which also gives you
yeah.
48 megapixel macro photography now.
Yeah. Well, but if you look at the comparison photos and videos, it's
Yes.
not 4 times better.
Yes, it
It is better.
depends. I haven't done extensive testing with especially the high image format
Mm-hmm.
or the um, raw type photos on it to see
Mm-hmm.
how much better it is. But and the main camera is better, but it's the same, or it's not quite the same as the non-pro.
Yeah.
Looking at this, the iPhone 16 has a 48 megapixel fusion main camera with f1.6 aperture, while the iPhone 16 Pro has a 48 megapixel fusion main camera with f1.78 aperture and larger sensor.
And the
So they are two
smaller
different cameras.
aperture gives you more blurry depth. That's
Yes.
so you always want a lens that has the lower aperture.
Lower aperture for the
Yeah.
depth. But yeah, I mean, overall they're pretty close. My theory always is, I mean, which phone is she coming from? The 12?
The 10S.
Oh, well, she's on the 10s, so here we are 5 years later.
Mm-hmm.
And if she's going to keep this one for 5 years, always you have to look at the holistic cost. If you break that down over 5 years, that extra, what would it be, $100, $200 to go to the Pro?
Yeah. One thing about the Pro she didn't like, it was a little bit heavier and a little bit thicker. We
Yeah,
compared them. We spent a lot of
yeah,
time comparing them back to back. And she wanted the thinnest, lightest that she could get.
yeah.
And so that's what she did. She was looking at getting a 15 or a 14
Oh,
to save 100 or $200. And I said, if you're going to keep this thing for 5 years, I implore
yeah,
you, please spend the extra $100 to get the 16 because of all of the enhancements with the Apple Intelligence. And she's like, I'm not going to want to use any of that. I don't care about it. And I said, right now you don't,
mm,
but there's
yes,
going to be coming a time when there's going to be some cool feature that
yeah,
you can't
yeah,
use that you're going to be sad about. So,
yeah, yeah, and that is a good reminder that we've also talked about the last 2 weeks, is that the Apple Intelligence features will start rolling out next month. Some people are saying it'll be early into next year before they get most of them out there. But I think somebody was talking on a podcast about how currently the norms, like your wife, normal people, when they think of AI, they think of, oh, go into Chat GPT and I've got to do all these
yeah,
weird commands to get
I'm going to do
something to come out of
programming
it.
with my voice or something.
Yes, yes. But Apple Intelligence is a lot more focused on a little more of the whimsical plus integrated with stuff you do all the time on your phone. So I think, and I am running the latest beta on my phone and my Mac, which they've started adding some of it to the Mac as well. But yeah, I think really to buy one of the older phones now would be a mistake. I would go 16 or 16 Pro if you're going to buy a new phone. And you mentioned before, was going to say they both have the camera control button. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a lot of people talking about this, and they're like, oh, it's finicky. I don't like it. I don't. And for me, the first couple times I tried to use it, it's like, oh, okay. So I click and the camera opens. And then if I double click, I can kind of get to the commands. But I had a thought, Dave, on the camera control button. For the last, since 2007, so 17 years, some people have been using iPhones now,
Mm-hmm.
if my math is correct. We have been using camera controls on the screen. Muscle memory is a very serious thing. Habits changes hard. It's one of those things where I think that even in the couple days that I've had my phone, the camera control has gotten a lot more. I've just gotten the feel for it. And
Mm-hmm.
so these guys that they get an iPhone early, they have to write a review, do their review video within, a couple days. And they're like, just the camera control's not even usable. And it's like,
Yeah, it's
I
too
just feel
too
like
quick.
that's so unfair. And a lot of the review stuff, I think people have to get out and they want to get the hot take in. And like I was watching, um, but sorry, yes, the article in the show notes, going in the order of our show notes, there's another article from, is that also from Mac Rumors? Yes.
Yes.
iPhone
Yes, it is.
16 camera control, everything you need to do. So they go through and talk about what the different, so there's the actual like clicking of the button that
Mm-hmm.
opens the camera app and takes pictures. There's a half click, which then allows you to scroll back and forth to adjust. And there's a double half click that lets you switch what that swiping will do. Now you can also do you can make some adjustments to the pressure and that kind of stuff, but you
Mm-hmm.
can set it to use different camera apps. And one of the things that we had talked about was, oh, well, now that I have the camera control button, what am I going to use the action button for that I
Right.
got last year? I am going to keep them both camera because 9 times out of 10, I'm trying to get my camera out of my pocket or my phone. Well, let's just be honest, my camera out
Yeah.
of my pocket and get and take the picture as quickly as possible. So if I happen to be holding it up here or if I grab it from the bottom, either way, I can near instantly get into my camera. So I think I can't think of anything else I want to use the action button for. I've heard people explain what they do, and I'm just like, the camera is most of what I want to do on my phone.
You could
Um,
always have it launch another camera app like
yes,
Halide
yes.
or your video, like the Blackmagic video app or something like that.
Yeah, and again, I've struggled with those like Halide, which we've discussed many times in the past. It is an amazing camera app, and I go in there and I'm like, you know what? I should really just start using this because it's better. And every time I just go back to the default. Now,
Mm-hmm.
like the Blackmagic camera app, if I was doing like a multi-camera setup or doing something more complicated, but the iPhone built-in camera app just does so well that it's hard for me with all the other apps. I mean, dozens of camera and video apps that I have on there. I just always go back to the default one. But maybe I
Yeah.
should, much like we were talking about with
Mm.
muscle memory, I see this as just a reoccurring theme with technology.
Right.
Um, Maybe I should just switch both of them to Halide and just be like, hey, for a week, I'm only going to use Halide to shoot photos or only use Kino or Blackmagic camera for video
It does
and
take
just see how
time
it
to
goes.
learn
Yeah.
these different tools,
And
and you have to
usually,
be
knowing
committed.
myself, I'm in such a rush. It's like, well, I don't want to figure that out. I know how the camera app works. But Yeah, so then back to the next link in our show notes so that I quit confusing Dave. There's from Macworld magazine, they had a iPhone 16 and 16 Pro review roundup. Now, I have heard a lot of the takes, like you were saying, that, oh, it's just a tiny upgrade. And a lot of that based, as I started to say, I was watching Marques Brownlee's
Mm-hmm.
review video today, and he was talking about the fact that it's, his hot take towards the end was that all of Apple's advertising, their NFL commercials, their main New York cube, everything's around the Apple Intelligence. And without that here, it's kind of this weird vortex time until the Apple Intelligence stuff starts rolling out. But the iPhone stands on its own as a great device, great camera. But they put together a bunch of the different reviews from some of the top people that you can get links to there and see what they.
And if you're one who tends to drop your phone a lot, I watched a video today where they had a 15 Pro and a 16 Pro in a giant stairwell. It was like 7 or 8 floors. And they
Oh,
dropped them same time. Of course, they fall randomly.
yeah. Hard to
The
control for that.
the 15 Pro back shattered, front shattered, and the little part where the camera bump is like
Yeah.
actually peeled off. You can see technology under it. Um, the 16 Pro screen was intact, back glass was intact, and there was some denting on the bump, the camera bumps, the metal part. It was
Oh,
like
yeah.
smushed in a little bit, and I think maybe when the lenses was cracked. That was it. It didn't do anything else to it.
Wow.
It was
That
amazing.
is something that I think gets neglected a lot is just how durable the improvements in durability that have been made with the iPhone. I mean,
Yeah.
just the waterproofing alone that they
Mm-hmm.
did, but it just continues to improve this stuff. And I saw some other headline, I didn't even click on it. It's like iPhone 16 glass isn't all it's cracked up to be with a picture of a shattered thing. And I'm like,
I don't
well,
know.
yeah, if you take a jackhammer to it, I'm sure that it's going to cause some problems.
We'll
But
have to look to see what Jerry Rig Everything says about it.
yes, yes, oh, it's painful to watch his,
Mm-hmm.
precision destruction of devices. I did see, and I don't see it listed on this article, but DxO,
Mm-hmm.
which is, a camera comparison review site of for smartphone cameras,
Yeah.
I think they ranked the 16 Pro is like top 4 for cameras, but they said video by far number 1, and I have seen that comment from some other people as well, that just where Apple is with video is leaps and bounds ahead of anything else. So you might be able to take a better photo, but really any smartphone made in the last 3 years is going to take a pretty good photo.
Yeah, they still do excel at video. I think the Google products are catching up. I watched a couple reviews, but they're still a little lacking as far as video goes. And I mean, it's proof positive with Apple filming all their events and stuff with their iPhone. They're just going
Yeah.
to continue to keep making it better and better.
Yeah, yeah, and one other thing, that so, the cameras, the actual physical cameras weren't a huge leap this year, but with the stuff that Apple's doing with their chips and their speed and their efficiency, there was a lot of stuff around that it's quicker, it's doing more processing. This fusion camera that
Mm-hmm.
they're using, they've improved the photo pipeline, which there's a lot of people that complain that it processes too much or does different things.
Makes your skin
Um,
smooth or whatever.
yeah, gets rid of shadows. But there are ways to get around that. But yeah, so all that to say, the new phones are out,
They
and
are.
I am liking mine. Of course, I am, disclaimer, on the Apple upgrade program. So I just put in my pre-order. They sent me this one, and then they are sending me a box to send my old one back. And they said I have till October 7th, I think, to send it back to them, so I don't get charged for both of them.
Are you going to do a
So
shootout again?
I don't know if we did. We did do that big, the iPhone shootout 11, 12 Pro, 13 Pro Max, 14 Pro, and 15 Pro Max last year that
Yeah.
you, Wes, and I did. That was a lot of fun. And
Well,
I
I still
should do
have
some good
the 15 Pro
comparison.
Max.
Yeah. Well, I have mine till October 7th. I should do some good. And part of it too is like people will take photos with two phones and then they post them on Facebook or Instagram or X or wherever that processes on top of them and
Hmm.
downgrades the quality. So it's like, are you really getting a good true comparison? You can kind of get the look of the photo, but the quality isn't the same. So I'll try to get some comparison photos. I'll use my uh, newer dual phone mount previous pick of the week.
I purchased a
So
newer product today.
yes, look
Maybe
at you.
future pick of the week.
Oh, I've got a couple in the pipeline. I've been buying some bangers
I can
lately.
guarantee you that you do not own the product that I purchased.
I that's
I guarantee.
that's a risky bet if it has the name newer on it. But
What do we bet? Are we gonna just
let's
a gentleman's bet?
bet a burger, bet
Oh,
a Robin Hood, Red Robin burger,
you're gonna lose,
Royal
my
Red
friend.
Robin burger.
Well, anyway, Newer's
Anyways,
cool.
but yeah, and I do want to mention too that the AirPods 4 and the Watch Series 10 are out now. I just saw a brief post today that said the AirPods 4 are the best AirPods ever, not including the AirPods Pro.
Well, of course,
Um,
I hope.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, so those are out. If you're looking for new AirPods, I would. Um, and producer Todd enters the chat. Whoever loses the bet has to buy me lunch.
Oh,
Okay, we're in. But yeah, the Series 10 and the AirPods 4, I haven't watched a lot of on them just because I don't need either one of them. I haven't heard a lot of them, a lot of buzz. But I'm guessing they're both good. I was gonna say, well, on both of these, if you can wait until Black Friday or Amazon's doing another Prime Days
I
next
saw
month in
some ads for
October.
that.
They can't stop themselves. They're like once a month now, which means nothing's ever a deal. Ooh, some driveway cam action.
There were
Neighbors
2
coming
cars.
and leaving.
That's
Double
like
car
Grand
action.
Central
That's
Station
rare.
around here.
Yes. Yes. Oh, and producer Todd also. And we had some newer lights in the Unipiper booth at the
Oh,
Celtic Festival that they went to. And I
nice.
do have to give a shout out. I did hang out with Todd and the Unipiper at CouvCon on Saturday at Vancouver Mall, which I am crowning the Vancouver, Washington Mall as the funnest mall,
Hmm.
maybe. Well, I'm going to say in the Pacific Northwest, but
I was gonna say,
massive
have you been to Mall of
arcade.
America, the largest mall?
At a very small, uh, it's yeah, a small Mall of America at a slightly retro scale. Although they do have a bunch of anime and like Japanese food and all kinds of weird
Hmm.
stores in there. They have a my wife was very excited about this. They have a little free library, like those little
Yeah.
boxes people have on the corner. They have an actual store in the mall that is just a little free library with like some seats and some stuff in it. And they have a county library in the mall. I
That's
mean, they've got a little
interesting.
bit of everything there. But yeah, we had a great
Hmm.
time at CouvCon, seeing all kinds of furries and people in cosplay and axolotls and all kinds of fun stuff. So, and the Unipiper. I love chased the Unipiper as he's unicycling and then playing his big pipes all the way through the mall. She just wanted to follow him. It was a blast.
That sounds like
But
a
yes.
good time.
Yeah, and a reminder, if you want to run into the Unipiper and producer Todd and possibly Dave and I, this weekend is the Retro Gaming Expo at the Portland Expo Center that we're going to try to get out and visit them there. So
It all depends on Nate's schedule. So
yes, it does. But it is a flurry of events going on around here. But thank you for joining us, Producer Todd, and everybody else in the live and watching later and all that stuff. Make sure you hit subscribe, hit that like button, leave a comment, ring that bell so you know when we go live. Thank you for the shout out on the Mark and Toddcast as well, Todd, the latest episode, reminding people to check us out. But you know what else you should check out?
What's that?
Dave's Pro Tip of the Week.
That's right, Nate. This week, I have an opportunity to show my disdain for some of these iOS 18 updates. And my primary focus is on photos. Not only have I had some iCloud syncing issues, which who knows,
much frustration.
But that's not what I'm here to complain about.
Okay.
I'm here to complain about the interface for Apple Photos. And if you've not seen it, I'm going to actually get my phone and you're going to see some of my pictures. I hope there's nothing in here that's embarrassing. But actually, I'm just going to reset it. So if you open up your photos, it's going to look something like this if you have iOS 18.
Yes.
It's going to be photos, and then there's recent days. Yes, that's Producer Todd there in the middle. Then there's albums down here, and then there's people and pets in here, and then there's pin collections, and there's memories, and there's trips, and then there's media types, and there's, you might be thinking, I can go for days without getting to the bottom of this garish design. Formerly, it used to just have some buttons along the bottom here. Yeah. Oh, and this is another thing that I hate. Contextual menu items. Look, the buttons aren't there. Where are my buttons? Oh, there they are. I have to know to come down here. Oh, wait, no, it's not snapping very easily. I'm losing it. So anyway, I don't love it, but there's something that you can do to make your life a little bit easier. You go down to the very bottom and you go to customize and reorder. And look at this. Garbage off. Look, it's all gone.
Yeah.
Now, how do I get to those things? Well, who knows? I guess I just have to turn them back on. What I've been doing is using, not wallpaper suggestions. Are you kidding me? Did I forget?
I know. I just unchecked that one. Like
media types and people and pets, because I was going through and adding names to people. So I'm going to put the media types here. This is the way I had it. So I've got my media types. So I just want to search by videos. If I want to search by live photos, if I want to search by portraits. Oh, there's Todd. So there you go. If you want to take control of your photo library just a little bit, go into customize and reorder and shut all that garbage off. Yeah, but that's just me.
I just updated mine and now I have photos. Then I have utilities because that gives you, some of the different recently edited documents, that kind of stuff, and the media types. But 99 out of 100 times, I just need to go to my photos. I don't need people and pets. I'll use the search button if I'm looking for something. It's that customize is huge because they're going to try to put stuff that some people must use it, but I
Well,
just don't need it.
and the first frustrating part for me is like here. Let's switch over. So I click on a photo and there's the photos down here, but I can click it and they go away. On my iPad, this is very evident. And on the iPad, the picture gets really small. It like shrinks it when the interface is there, and then you tap it and it fills the screen again. Let me see if I can find a horizontal photo. So it's not as evident on the phone, but it's really evident on the iPad. But I'll be going through pictures like this, and then the interface will just disappear and it'll get big, and then I'll go over again and then it'll just show up. And I'm like, why? Why are you turning on and off? Yeah. And yes, look at me. I'm wearing the same shirt. It's amazing.
Surprise. What a shock.
I have like 5 shirts. I was on the moon when I took
the
this
moon
photo.
rover. Yeah. Just like the astronauts.
Just like the astronauts.
Yes.
Anyway.
Nice.
Sorry to rant, but
no, it is, again, it goes back to muscle memory, and it is a big change. Like I've stated, I like how they've adjusted some of the editing features, but there are some things with the interface, and I see your frustrations. The video tool is still not my favorite, but we shall adjust, and in a month you won't even remember it was different.
Well, I've been using this particular thing since June.
Yes.
And I've been frustrated with it ever since. And honestly, I don't even remember how it used to be. I just know I don't like the new one.
Yeah. And they did make some pretty big changes from the original announcement, because there was even more, like, you swipe left and right on your photos between things, and then up and down, just basically to get rid of that bottom, like 4 or 5. But
now it's just one big long thing.
Has like that bottom navigation. That's something that exists. So
they actually kind of invented it, right? And then they just threw it out of the window and said, now we're going to do scrolling.
Remembering way back to iOS 17, there was like the library button and like the photos button, but they were like basically
there was an albums
the same
button
thing. So there was a little redundancy there. So I feel like it was time for a change. I don't feel like they've nailed it yet.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you for that
rant.
Somewhat tip and rant and tip. But that means it's time for everyone's favorite segment, Just the Headline. We've got
nothing going on out there.
83 degrees here towards the end of September. A balmy September Eve.
Yeah. Very strange.
Yeah, it is. It is very strange. Well, let's get into Just the Headlines. Atari launches a line of game-themed hot sauces.
Tugboat powered by ammonia sails for the first time, showing how to cut emissions from shipping.
California drivers may soon get speed warning devices as standard.
Facebook admits to scraping every Australian adult user public photos and posts to train AI with no opt-out option. Surprise Pikachu face.
Elon Musk officially moves X headquarters from California to Texas.
And finally, Saturn's majestic rings will vanish in just 6 months from now.
And those are just the headlines.
Spoiler, the rings will be back.
Yes.
They're just tilting towards the earth.
Yes, it's like
tilting back.
It's like my paper has
disappeared.
vanished.
Where did it go?
And now it's back. Yes.
If you believe in space.
believe
or
in
whatever it is you say. If space exists.
if space even exists, if Saturn's even a thing,
Yeah.
it's a Hollywood production.
It's a hologram.
Yes. Well, let us move on to our takes of the week, and we did talk briefly in your tip about the suggested wallpapers
Yes.
album, which I rarely change the wallpaper on my phone. I did. Isla was trying to get me to do some weird photos on mine. She's using some new Minecraft ones. But
Mm.
Marques Brownlee, who we were talking about, MKBHD, I believe the biggest tech YouTuber, one of the
On
biggest
Earth.
tech celebrities, who I also do want to give a shout out. His team recently won, I don't think I mentioned this, won the World Ultimate Frisbee Championships.
Wow.
Down in Australia. Yeah,
Where they
so
scrape
he is
Facebook data. Or
yeah,
Facebook scrapes all your
exactly.
data.
So he will be in your AI now. But so huge tech YouTuber, tons of videos, does car stuff, phone stuff, everything, does amazing production value, uses
The most
8K red
expensive.
cameras, and used to carry his iMac Pro around with him to
It's
edit videos.
ridiculous. It is so unnecessary.
Yes, over the top. But so this article is actually in reaction. Yesterday or 2 days ago, he put out a post saying, uploading an app. Like he's always uploading videos, but he was uploading an app. So everybody's like, he's going to come out with an app. So yesterday, he announces new app, which apparently, from what he says, everybody always comments on his videos and asks where he gets his iPhone wallpapers from. So he released a wallpaper app where you
Wow.
can download wallpaper photos for your devices, both iOS and Android.
Well,
Now,
funny thing, Nate, I watched his latest video and he mentioned it and I tried to download it. I couldn't find it.
oh,
Is that
well,
related to this story?
no, it is, well, maybe they took it down. I did download it.
Okay.
And when you open it, it asks you, do you want this app to allow to track across devices? Do you want to give it permission to do this? Do you want to subscribe for $50 a year? Or I think it was like $15 a month.
That's as much as like Marvel Unlimited, where you have thousands of comic books.
But yeah, so and I saw something today that he like bought an app from somebody and then remade it for himself, and he's working with some great artists that do really cool stuff, and
Yeah.
he's sharing the revenue with them. But needless to say, he got a little bit of flack for releasing a subscription and ad-based wallpaper app, which wallpaper apps in general are usually a pretty bad user experience and costs a lot of money for something you can just go Google for free. Or there is, why don't you pull up the article, and I'm going to find a guy, the basic Apple Guide.com does amazing artwork stuff with wallpapers and great stuff. He'll ask for, I donated a couple times because he did some really cool stuff. But anyways, back to this article. Marques Brownlee says, I hear you after fans criticize his new wallpaper app.
I haven't heard about it, this controversy, I guess. It
There
just
was
was too much.
Yeah, and people are just like, okay, you're the biggest tech YouTuber and you're going to come out with an app and it's wallpapers and it's going to ask for a bunch of permissions and you're going to charge a bunch of money. And
Yeah,
I
why do
mean,
you need location data?
it all boils down to this. He's the
Selling.
biggest tech YouTuber, so hate is going to hate.
Yeah.
That's what it really comes down to. So, and he posted on X today and said, part of building in public is getting mass feedback immediately, which is pretty dope. Almost exactly like publishing a YouTube video. First thing we're doing is fixing the excessive data disclosures, as people have rightfully brought up. For transparency, we'd never actually, and then it cut off of the little tweet thread there. But
Yeah, let's see the tweet on
Here it
mine.
goes. Data disclosures that everyone is screenshotting is likely too broad and largely driven by what the ad network suggests. Working to fix that ASAP. As far as pricing, I hear you. It's our own personal challenge to work to deliver that kind of value for the premium version. Weekly Friday drops are already starting.
I don't get it.
But
It's just like these YouTubers who have a staff of people and they make more and more videos and then they'll do like a podcast and there's like 500 commercials in it.
yeah,
And I'm just like, guys, just dial it back.
yeah,
You don't have to make $100,000 on every video you post, right?
yeah,
You could
yeah.
just break even or just make a
Find
little
a
bit of
couple
money.
good, worthwhile sponsors, maybe come out with a
Yeah.
product, sell some swag, come
I
out
just
with a
don't,
candy or a food like everybody else does.
it's the race
Just
to
some
the
kind of
bottom with all of
value.
the ads and stuff. It's just like,
Yeah,
some are unwatchable or unlistenable because there's so many ads in the thing.
yeah. I do feel
And
like it.
what does it
Coming from
cost?
the most ad-free tech podcast on the
Yeah.
internet.
Well, you and I know from experience how much it costs to actually do this.
Yeah,
And I got to tell you, this episode right here, if you don't consider our time,
yes.
costs $10. I
Yeah,
mean, $5. What is it? Of course,
yeah,
there's technology we purchased,
yeah,
but we were going to buy it anyway. There's electricity. There's a couple of online tools.
yeah,
I mean, the hosting fee is the largest thing for the audio because YouTube's free. So
yeah,
I just don't get it. Where are they
yeah.
spending this money on? It's the staff of 100
The
people
staff, yeah, and living the good life.
living la vida
Which
loca.
we choose not to do. We will not live the good life. But I think part of the reason why he's getting so much flack as well is the fact that a couple of his recent reviews have been pretty critical, like on the Rabbit R1 and the
Mm-hmm.
not insane, humane AI pin,
Yeah.
also the insane. So people are like, oh, now we can get him. And there's comments I'm looking on his updated his response. You should review your own app in a video. But
That
yeah,
would be funny.
it's again something 99% of the US would never even know exists, but it is just part of this bigger problem of where do we get more money?
Mm-hmm.
And doesn't always make for a great experience.
Just produce content you love and forget about the money.
Yes, yes. Oh, and producer Todd, I was in Sherwood today and had a fleeting thought of trying to find Dave's house based solely on his driveway cam, knowing he's near Walmart, but then I didn't feel like it.
You
You
could have
would
probably
probably
done
have
it.
some success, yes.
Use
Uh,
some AI and see
yeah.
if you can see the road sign that's up there on the corner.
Mm,
I could just almost make it out with my low resolution 1080p camera from
yeah.
500 yards
There's
away.
there are those guys on TikTok that you just send them a picture or a video and they can
Mm-hmm.
locate you within 10 minutes. It's pretty
Well,
amazing how some of
well,
them do.
or you just go to the latest, uh, what was it? The billion records released data breach. I was
Oh, yeah,
listening to
yeah.
Steve Gibson show the other day. There's a website you can go to, and we can talk about it later, where you can type in your name and it'll show you all the addresses you've been in.
Yeah,
So all you
yeah.
really need to know is my name and my state, and you could just drive up to my house. But that's true
Nice.
for anybody pretty much in the US
Yeah,
now that the
yes.
data's been released.
It's out there. Or producer Todd, you could take out your phone and text Dave and get his address, and
Oh,
then he would have you come over. There would be that too.
he probably could look at my contact card. It might even be on there.
Yeah. Many options. We're here to solve your problems, producer Todd.
Yeah.
You just didn't really want to find Dave.
Yeah. Just come over anytime. Surprise me.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
and speaking of producer Todd, I'm just going to thank him on the show for
Oh, yeah.
several caffeine-free Coke Zeros that he gave to me.
Very
So
nice.
thank you,
Very
Todd.
nice. Well, for this next one, I will remind people that we are the most nonpartisan tech podcast on the internet, but there has been a lot going around, and I've had people ask me questions on this. But it is the story of um, people claim that Israel planted explosives in pagers sold to Hezbollah. Officials say.
Yowza.
I mean, all signs point to that it was Israel, since they are in near war status. Um, but basically, somehow within the supply chain, these pagers were gotten, explosives were put in them with a trigger, and then they were delivered to Hezbollah, which is a terrorist organization deemed that. Um, and then at a certain time, those pagers went off and caused a lot of damage. Um,
Yikes.
now, the there's been people that are like, "Oh, is my phone just going to blow up in my pocket?" Not
Maybe.
unless you or somebody else has put explosives in it. Which I did read an interesting article talking about just the overall dangers of our supply chain
Mm-hmm.
um, on this. Now, you're like, they use pagers? What is this? The
Who's
90s?
using a
What is this?
pager?
Nate in high school? Uh, well, the problem is Israel had hacked all their phones, so they had to go back to retro technology of
Ah,
walkie-talkies and pagers because their phones weren't safe to communicate with anymore. Um, and so that's where they were using this older technology. And I also saw some reports that they think Hezbollah were starting to realize that something was going on with these pagers, so they had to, like, right away trigger all of them. Now, I've
hmm.
also seen reports that this is the most targeted, like, specific targeted attack, like, ever in the history of the world or something
Hmm.
like that, because these pagers were only for the Hezbollah organization. So there's a very good chance anybody wearing them was a terrorist within the organization. So, and they had a small blast radius. There was some uh,
Collateral.
casual collateral casual damage, collateral damage to other people, which you don't want to see. But this attack minimized that. Hezbollah has been firing thousands of rockets at Israel indiscriminately, and
Mm-hmm.
so Israel's trying to say, hey, maybe if we could do a little bit less of that. Hezbollah says no. Israel says, okay, we'll blow up your pagers. So
Hmm.
very
Interesting.
interesting story. I'm sure they'll make a movie about it, maybe, or
Probably.
it might be in the next issue of your supply chain daily. But yeah, pretty wild story. Which
I
there's
get all
many
my
wild
news.
stories that come out of the Middle East.
I get all my news from movies that come out 5 or
Movies.
6 years later.
Yes. Oh, that's what happened.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, this is a very simple thing that I came across today. We probably could even made it a pro tip. I'll do it as a pro tip take.
Mm-hmm.
But we've talked in the past about using your Apple phone as an Apple TV remote. And
Mm-hmm.
last year that got better. You can use the volume up and down to turn up. You can do everything on here, which you weren't able to do before. Now, on your Apple Watch, you have had a very limited Apple TV remote control on there. With Watch OS 18, whatever the current version of Watch OS that just came out, you can now use the digital crown to adjust volume on your TV. You can have a
11.
little bit more control. You can play and pause. You can do that stuff. Watch OS 11.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, it's a nice little upgrade because the Apple TV remote is so small, and every once in a while, Isla leaves it somewhere, and I don't want to get up. It's like, okay, well, oh, I don't want to reach for my phone. Now I can do it on my watch.
Hmm.
So a nice little upgrade there that I hadn't heard reported before I saw this article today. So
Yeah, that's nice. You can kind of use some of those features with your AirPods. You can like turn it up and do
yeah,
different things. Seems like they're moving that functionality over to the
yes,
Apple TV. That's kind of cool.
yes. And one other one, United Airlines taps Elon Musk's Starlink for in-flight Wi-Fi. So Starlink is just on a tear recently, and SpaceX, the parent company. But yeah, so all United, believe it's all United Airlines flights will be using Starlink. Now, I don't know if you've ever tried to use Wi-Fi on a plane. It is usually pretty miserable. So
Well,
later in 2025, they're going to start rolling this out.
if you're a T-Mobile subscriber on some flights,
Yeah,
typically Alaskan, you can get a free.
very slow Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, it's better than nothing. But yeah, Starlink keeps striking those deals up. And yeah, and great reminder, head over to notpicks.com so that you can support us, so Dave and I can buy one of the Starlink minis.
Yes, we need one of
Use those
those.
Amazon affiliate links so that we can purchase one of those, because that would be cool. And that gets us to our bonus odd take. The title of this one is possibly the best one we've ever had. It is the Holotypic Occlupanid Research Group.
Wow.
Which no one on earth besides this group should know that. You get to the page and it is a very classical,
looks like a government website.
Yeah, it almost looks government. The subheadline is the database of synthetic taxonomy. And it goes on to say, this site contains several years of research in the classification of occlupanids. These small objects are everywhere, dotting supermarket aisles and sidewalks with an impressive array of form and color. The HORG has taken them on the mantle of classifying this most common yet most puzzling member of the phylum Plasticae. Now, any guesses on what we got here?
Is it like a cockroach?
It is not. They have gone through painstaking trouble of classifying all types of bread ties, plastic bread ties. So if you click on, they have several different categories over on the right side, and if
This
you
is
click on each one,
ridiculous.
it will give you different classifications. So they have the kingdom of Microsynthera,
Well,
phylum Plasticae,
that's what threw me
class,
off. They're using animal classifications.
class of Occlupanida, order Orthogonicletus, family Acutagnathidae, genus Astrogoscus, species Bidae. So they have gone through, and every different type based on the edges, the colors, the types of the plastic bread ties that we're so familiar with but never pay attention to. They have hundreds, if not thousands of them classified on this website.
This has
So
got
I
to
just
be
had to share
one
that with others.
guy. This is not an organization of people. Nobody cares about this stuff.
If it is one guy, it's impressive. Yes, I'm trying to see if there's any information on who makes up the
Well, in
Horg.
2011, Dr. Bruce Ragsdale collaborated with Horg and other physicians to publish the first internationally recognized paper on occlupanids in a peer-reviewed medical journal.
Oh, yes.
Why?
And on their contact page, if you think you have found an occlupanid that is not in the Horg database, please consider sending the specimen along with any relevant data to the address below, which is located in Berkeley, California. Where else would these guys be located?
Who knows? That sounds about right.
Global Outreach Division is also hoping to acquire specimens from Russia, China, and the continents of South America, Africa, and Antarctica. Don't know if there's a whole lot.
Well, they're not going to be manufactured in Antarctica for sure.
And they have a print your own set of cut out identification plastids so that then you can identify them. Just one of those wild, weird websites that I saw, I believe, through hotkey.org. Yeah.
See those cutouts? I bet somebody has patented the shape. Yeah. That's why they're all different.
Producer Todd, back to the back to your Coke Zero Sugar, don't
Oh,
thank me, thank Colin, who I bought those Coke Zeros for last summer. Then he also says, was Nate a 90s weed dealer in high school? No, I was just very cool and carried a pager and also had a fake pager, a display pager for a while so I could have two pagers on my baggy jeans.
what?
It was a different time.
Did one of them, you open it up and there's candy in it or something?
No, it was like a literal pager, but it was a fake see-through one. My
Why?
actual one was just black, just
Oh
a
my
standard
word.
black pager.
Well, growing up
Oh,
as a farm kid in western Kansas, I got to tell you, we didn't have pagers when I was in high school.
no,
We didn't
carrier
have.
pigeons.
We had to drive our tractors to work to school.
Yes. Well, speaking of tractors,
Mm-hmm.
it's time for our picks of the week.
I hit the wrong button. What is it time for?
Our picks of the week.
Much better. This week, you mentioned Marques Brownlee. Well, it's been here the whole time. You may or may not have noticed.
Yes.
I picked up at nearly
The-
half the price a Rabbit R1 device, which is a artificial intelligence type thing. It was brand new. The box had the zip tie thing removed, but the packaging was still in cellophane and unopened. So a
Oh.
brand new device. And I'm ordering a screen protector, so I haven't removed the
Oh, yes,
the
yes.
thing. And it may or may not be charged.
Oh,
It
there it
looks like it's
is.
out of juice. I do have a charge cable here. So anyway, not that I recommend that you purchase one of these, but it's my pick because I purchased one.
Yes.
And the Rabbit R1, it's got a little camera right over here. It's got a scroll wheel to move the interface elements. It's got the power button. It's got a built-in speaker and things that you can do with it. Let's see. You can ask it questions. You can
Ah,
have it describe the thing it's looking at. It can read you text on signs. What I'm finding with like the Meta glasses and a device like the Rabbit R1 and the AI pen is they seem ultra helpful for people who have low vision or no vision. Because if I'm looking at something like, what is this? Oh, it appears to be a Sony camera. Like I'm looking at the camera. It's got
yeah.
the word Sony on it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
do I really
How many
need?
things do you look at that you don't know what they are? Like
Yeah.
birds or animals or something. Producer Todd says things you can do with the rabbit. Make YouTube videos on how much the rabbit sucks.
Yes.
Which, yes, that is what you will find. And we did talk about that. Mostly, it's just an Android app that's put onto the very
Yeah.
uh, fun design of a little product that was
Yeah.
designed with the intention of you using your phone less and just interacting with that. But
Yeah. It's a fun little toy, basically, is what it is. And I'm looking forward to delving into it more and figuring out more about it. But it's designed by Teenage Engineering, which also designed the Panic Playdate, which
yeah,
I featured, I don't know, like a year or so ago. So you can see that the design language is very similar.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. If you turn the Playdate sideways or make the screens kind of match up, they look very similar.
yes.
There you go.
Yeah, it's like a Big Brother.
Yeah.
This one does have a backlight on it. This one does. This one does not. You have to,
Get
it's
it
a
in the right angle.
glare. You have to get it like right in the right light to see it. And there's some updates. It looks like I have to look at some new games that are
Ooh.
coming out for it.
Yeah.
But
and Todd
anyway,
said, but for real, that's awesome that you got one. Yes,
I
that
know.
was something that you had talked about from the beginning. That's like, I don't need this thing, but just for the design and the
Yeah,
nostalgia of
I
something that
appreciate.
came out earlier this year.
I just appreciate the technology. And like I said, you can take pictures with it. You can say, "Hey, rabbit," or whatever. Take a picture I think you have to push the button. But I mean, it's got some use. You have to go to a web interface they call the rabbit hole, which is kind of funny.
Yes.
And you log in, you go into your account, it's tethered to your device, and you can see all of the questions you've asked it, what the responses are, if you've taken any pictures. And the camera is like a magic camera. And what it does is it'll take the photo, but it'll interpret it with AI, and it'll give you actually one or two AI things, and you can toggle the real photo on or toggle it to the magic photo. So it's just kind of a fun toy. It doesn't seem very useful, but that's all. I got it this weekend, and I turned it on and set it up, and that's all I've done with it so far.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, my pick of the week this week, I'm just going to do it. The iPhone 16 Pro.
Oh.
I'm loving it so far, but I do have a secondary pick. Now I am going caseless, but as in the past, I like to have a case in case I'm going to, in case I'm going to be out in nature or, around a pool or something where it will be used a little more roughly, or there's some elements that could cause issues.
Or you hand it to a friend.
Yeah, if I hand it to Dave, I will put a case on it. So, same brand as yours last week, but I got the TORRAS Magnetic Slim Fit for iPhone 16 Pro case, 6.3-inch ultra thin 16 Pro case, compatible with MagSafe, lightweight, matte, anti-scratch, hard PC cover phone case for iPhone 16 Pro, OriginFit Black. Woo!
Did you have that on your phone earlier?
I might have it before the episode, but
no, it must have been the green screen thing with your Apple logo. It looked like it was weird.
There's
a
little sticker which came from the new Crocs Happy Meal toys. Comes with a sticker pack, and Isla added a little Croc sticker to the back of my iPhone.
Okay, that was throwing me off. All right, so this is the case.
It is. Now, in the past, I bought TORRAS cases right after the iPhone came out, so I'd have a case for it, and they would be super thin, but it wasn't MagSafe, but they kind of said they were MagSafe because it was so thin, but it didn't really work if you were trying to like MagSafe vertically. But this one, it actually has magnets built into it, but it is also, it's kind of hard to see how thin it is.
It looks very thin.
0.3 millimeters, I think.
That might be the same one that my wife bought for her
very
iPhone.
Nice. And it's got the camera control cut out there. This has a hole. Some cases, like the Apple cases, actually have a capacitive button there that passes through the sliding. But yeah, and somehow they've got some magical magnets in here because it is stronger. Like I had the case on and I put it on my mount in the car, and getting it off of there was a struggle because it has like stronger magnets than the phone actually does, or I don't know. They've done some magic, but much like your TORRAS case last week, they make some great cases at a reasonable price.
I think the only difference is mine has this
the thick ring and the
little thing on the little stand.
360 ring.
Yeah, and this actually is the one that Valerie got for her phone too, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Did yours come with inserts where you could change the buttons?
No, it doesn't. I think because it's so thin that they just have, you probably won't even be able to see them.
I see. It's just injection molded.
Yeah, very, very thin, as thin as they can make it.
I see. There's just a little diving board style.
Yeah.
Huh. Very cool.
But yeah, so it was $22, and there's a little 5% coupon on Amazon, but they do TORRAS, TORRAS. Check them out. And if you want any of our picks, I don't know if you can still buy a Rabbit R1, but we will add it on notpick.com anyways.
I think you can. I think you can still buy it.
Nice. So we'll put a link on there so that you can go buy one. And buy many of our previous picks. Help us with those Amazon affiliate links. And we do have another Ramazon purchase of the week. This one I picked solely on the company, the Amazon company name. So this is a laptop messenger bag, which is very cool, kind of leathery, suede, classy. But the Amazon brand, this is genius. It's the Magnificent store. Instead of
Oh,
magnificent, the Magnificent. Now, I
the
didn't go shopping
Magnificent.
at the Magnificent store to see what else they retractable hands-free dog leashes
Wow.
seems to be something they're into, and laptop cases. So yes, dog
Things that
leashes
men
and
love.
laptop cases.
Laptop cases and dog leashes.
Yes.
So this is very vintage. This looks like it could be something out of the 40s.
Yeah,
That's been
Indiana
used a lot.
Jones would be carrying something like this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you bought this, let us know, because I would. Hey, producer Todd, that's his bag.
Oh, way to
Finally,
go,
we
Todd.
make a connection with the Amazon purchase. I think he teased us that he had gotten one for his new
did.
internship that he's starting.
Well, what do you
You're
think?
going to look so classy.
Give us a live text update. Or here, just jump on. We can figure it out.
Yeah, jump on.
Do a FaceTime. I'll hold my
yes.
phone up.
There we go.
Maybe he can give us
yeah.
a review for next week.
Yeah, do a video review for us. We'll get it up on the channel. Dr. RIP VHS, thank you for supporting us through your Amazon purchases. Man, my throat's giving out. I've had a little bit of a
Well, we're going over.
Fall allergies. Yeah, we have been rocking and rolling. So I think we will wrap this up. Hopefully, we provide you with plenty of tech information, tech goodness, and some opinions and picks and tips, everything to help you get out there and tech better. And we'll go out with Dave's country song.
We're Nate and Dave with tips and tricks to help you out for likes and clicks. So power it on, click it in place. The screen comes on, smile on your face. Take better. With tips and tricks, you should listen. Helping you to tech better, that's our only mission. So power it on, click it in place. The screen comes on, smile on your face. Tech, better, tech, better. With tips and tricks, you should listen. Helping you to tech